Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, you got the egg here today doing the Titleist ball fitting. I have Jaden with me today. Thanks for stopping out, Jaden.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So Jaden's going to give us the whole runaround of what you could expect if you're going to be doing a ball fitting with Titleist.
Yeah, so I mean, we're just going to get started right away. So usually we begin, what ball are you currently playing? And then what's your handicap currently? Now, is this where you're playing most of your golf, or how are the greens that you're typically playing on? Now, in terms of shot trajectory, what do you like to see? You like a high flight, low flight? Is there anything you're looking to change? Do you hit draws, cuts? Kind of tell me a little bit about your flight. Now, in terms of feel, what do you like? You like a softer ball, firmer? Is that important to you, or is it more so performance at the end of the day? All right, we can get started then. So we'll start with that sand wedge. Now, when we're doing these fittings, we're looking at three things: spin rate, peak height, land angle, and kind of as you talked about in your shot trajectory. Land angle is just from that peak height, what's the angle of descent into that green, and that goes into our whole fitting philosophy. We use a green to tee approach. So, you know, we work wedges all the way back to the driver. Those wedges and irons are where we see the biggest difference in the different characteristics of the golf ball.
Sure.
Off the tee, all of our balls are designed to be low spin, maximize distance. So other than a couple hundred RPMs of spin between the different balls, you know, you're not gonna see much of a difference in the driver. Okay. So this first shot, we're gonna go like a half sand wedge shot, looking for like a flighted 60-yard carry here. Okay. You know, when we shallow out that land angle, lower that peak height, the shot's gonna rely more on spin to stop. So we'll go 3 good ones of these. Take a look at that one.
Yeah, let's get the full caddy experience with Titleist.
Oh,
Love it.
59 yards, 8,400 spin, that's great right there. Okay. Looking for anything above 65 with this shot.
Okay, now how important would you say the clean grooves are?
That's pretty important. I mean, that's how you're gonna maximize that spin. You know, that dirt's gonna impact it even just a little bit, you know, can impact that spin number quite a bit. Good strike right there. So we're using all Pro V1 RCT balls, small metal piece to allow the TrackMan to pick a spin up better. That was 67, 4,000 spin. And then I can get the golf balls for you.
You're not gonna make me do anything today, are you?
Nope. That sounded pretty good right there. Just a full, comfortable stock pitching wedge shot. 124 carry, 6,600 spin. Okay. So 94 peak height, that's really good right there. Spin with the pitching wedge, you know, we're usually looking for like 9,500.
Oh, that was thin.
A little thin.
Take that one away.
That was still pretty solid in terms of, you know, carry was 123, still 78 peak height. It's a little bit low, but you know, that's fine. Okay. And then 9,500 spin, so that's kind of the number we're looking for. Yeah, 130 right there. 54.6 land angle. So your average land angle is 53. You know, that's solid, coming in real steep, gonna stop nice and quick. So 7-iron yardage, what are you kind of expecting here?
165, 170.
$166, yeah, 8,000 spin. So that was 114 peak height, 53, that's coming in nice and steep. So driver, kind of as I said earlier, it's not going to change anything in terms of your fit. It's still good to get the numbers, but off the tee, all of our balls are designed to be low spin, maximize distance. The ball that's going to travel the farthest is going to be your best fit. .298 carry, 2,300 spin. That's crushed right there. 170 ball, 320 total. Now, your best fit is actually gonna be our Pro V1 X left dash. So, you know, that's a little bit firmer of a golf ball. It's still relatively high flying, but we take off some spin. So the biggest thing was your 7-iron. Your average spin was, let me take a look. Average spin was 8,000. Okay. Definitely wanna bring that down a little bit, especially with your height. You know, with that much spin and that height, any wind is gonna cause some issues probably. So, you know, bringing that down, that height's a good thing, I think. Like, I'm a big fan of having a high ball flight. You can just take some stuff out of the course that a lot of people can't.
Sure.
But, you know, putting you in something like the left dash, which is gonna spin a little bit less, should help you control it a little bit more. Not gonna run into as much issues with the spin and wind. And then around the greens, it's still gonna, you know, get some good greenside spin. It has that soft urethane cover, and that just interacts really well with the grooves of the club. Softer material, harder for manufacturers to work with, but that's where that greenside spin comes from. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna recommend that left dash.
So let me ask you this question. For the people that are getting fit into that Pro V1 and it's costing a little bit more money, like, what would be your selling point to be able to trying to tell them why they should be playing the more expensive ball?
So the biggest thing is just consistency. Titleist's ability to consistently make the ball. I think the Pro V1 has 80 quality checks throughout, you know, its manufacturing process. So I think the stat was 1 in 10 million balls get sent back for, you know, not being up to par.
Okay.
And the biggest, it's just that consistency and how many times they can make the same ball over and over and over again.
Sure.
The big thing about playing the same ball is that you know what you're going to get from it. You know the spin, you know the height, you know how it's going to perform. So, you know, playing that same ball and playing a premium ball like the Pro V1, you know, it's just going to be big for kind of being consistent, and consistency is probably one of the biggest things in this game. If you can constantly, if you know what's going to happen, you know, it's going to give you the best chance to score low.
I agree with you. Well, Jaden, you got all the numbers there, but you also have all the numbers in your head. So,
oh yeah.
If you haven't gotten Titleist fit yet for your ball, look for the tent, track it down at your local golf course. Hopefully you can see Jaden, because this guy definitely knows his stuff. So
thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for having me out here today.